But that's how I'm going to live the rest of my life. Is just be impactful and enjoy good barbecue and spend all my money.
All right, here we go. We have had the player spotlight before. Now we are jumping on over to the coach's spotlight. And one coach that we need to spotlight is someone that fans you may not know just yet. Was just introduced a few weeks ago. It is none other than the 2026 Abilene Flying Bison bench coach and Blake Sandford. Coach, how we doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm happy as a clam and thankful for everything I've gotten.
Appreciate it, and we're happy to have you here. The fans are happy to have you whenever we get to obviously meet you in person. But fans that don't know you, you're from the Brownwood, Texas area. Kind of just take us through your coaching background, and I guess what got you into coaching in the first place.
Well, I grew up in Austin. My dad was a coach, and I coached out in West Texas, and I knew from an early age I was going to do this. Probably old enough to ride the bus with him on games, and so it was kind of a path I knew that I was going to do. In high school at a young age, and then certainly in college. The but I've done it a long time now, and I'm a little long in the tooth. But it's been fortunate enough to have coached at a lot of schools and a lot of great kids and a lot of great programs. So this is that's kind of where I got started, and I'm actually I finished up and retired here in Brownwood, but I coached in Sweetwater and Lubbock and Frisco and kind of West Central Texas, but also a little bit east in Fremont. So it's kind of been a kind of actually really what it ended up being was from big school to small school. I coached all of the aides, and then was fortunate enough to work at Howard Payne as well as a coach. So it's been kind of a really great career. The resume looks fantastic, but it was mainly due to having good people that led me and taught me, and of course great young men that I was able to coach.
The journey with plenty of stories, I can imagine. That's the best part about it. And obviously, now getting to this point, you're joining in with what is the collegiate summer league side of it. Now, with the Flying Bison, obviously, not an interesting choice, but something, not everybody goes out there and does and just goes out there and goes for the collegiate summer side. I kind of want to get your thoughts on what was the pull in bringing you into the Flying Bison and joining the coaching staff this year?
Well, on the coaching side, the first part of it is, since I retired, and we're only in middle of November, and I retired in May. And this is my second retirement. The first retirement, I went into college to coach in college. Well, this retirement, you know, it's hard to not get on a field. It's hard to not impact young players, young men, especially if you've done it all your life, which I have all of my adult life. It's hard not to do that anymore. So, in the basics of that is character development, obviously playing development, and just generally just being someone that can really propel them into to adulthood. And of course, these are college guys, so they're well on their way to adulthood right now. Uh, that's that. But then the other thing is, my wife and I attended a game in Abilene 2 years ago, and so that appeal was that game was awesome. The whole spectacle of it, the game, the the players, the atmosphere around it, everything like that. I'm very familiar with the stadium and everything. We've had playoff games there, but just the way the presentation was, it looked like an express game. Basically, is what it looked like. It looked like a minor league experience, and so I thought, man, that's awesome. So that's the other draw that got me into this. We always like to coach really good players, and we're either going to get them good or better, or they're already good or better. And that's the other appeal is the talent level, and so now you got all this mixed into one thing, and at the end of the day, I do baseball every day. I do something with baseball every day, and now this gives me an opportunity to a give back and b experience this and let's propel the Bison into the premier organization in the United States. Is basically what my goal is now, is to propel this and help or be a part of that process.
And when you talk about that, it just speaks so true to everything that it seems like everybody in this organization is trying to do. The fans believe it. The coaching staff that we have in place believe it. So adding you to that mix is pretty much just what we're asking for. So we are grateful to hear that. And you mentioned the player development side, which kind of brings me to my next question when it comes to coaching styles. Being the bench coach, that's kind of a different role that some people don't know the real style of what a bench coach is. But I guess I'll ask you this: what kind of coaching style are we looking to see from Coach Sandford this year for the Flying Bison?
You know, I think I was telling a group of this the other night about instruction. Let's take hitting, the hitting instruction. This is one of the hardest things to do, and everybody says it's the hardest thing to do in sports, and yet they're still out there and they're still competing, and they're still trying to do something that's positive for the team. A lot of that stuff happens up top. The mental drive, the mental process, the mental capacity to be able to put them in a position to succeed. We've got to be able to understand what makes each person tick. So the first thing that I would probably think that I do, and I think I do pretty well, is drive into the relationship of each player individually. And when you're driving into the players individually, now you can kind of understand what they're seeing or what they might need help on, or really just get them moving into the right direction that they need to for the team. Everything is based on team first attitudes, and so that's how I will deliver that process. It's a lot of physics. I don't know how to spell physics, but it's a lot of physics when we get them moving in the right direction athletically, especially on the baseball field.
Yeah, it's all interesting the way that the game's evolving and different things are happening, especially at the college side where we have the transfer portal, all the NIL stuff that's coming about. And that kind of has me begging the question to you, adapting with how we see all these different things coaching wise and the analytics, the data measurements. How does someone adapt nowadays to evaluating players in this new age of baseball?
Well, as many camps as I attend right now, showcase camps, at the end of the day, the metrics are there and they're important for everybody to gauge at. But every camp that I've gone to, they're still watching the kid and seeing how they swing. They're still seeing if their swing works. They're still seeing if they're delivering the barrel to the ball. They're still seeing if their arm action works, if they're a pitcher, or if their hands and feet are good as a fielder. And so when you have that, you still have the old school element, which I'm the author of the old school. So when you have the old school element combined with that, at the end of the day, when these kids come and play for us in Abilene, our job not only is to win a lot of ball games, but let's move them on to the next level, whatever that next level may be. If for some of them, let's get them moving into professional ball, whether it be a minor league and drafted free agent or whatever it is that, or drafted, kid. The object, though, is to get them better, moving forward, moving upward in their game. If we're driving them down or driving them backwards, that's not a good scenario for anybody. And so when I wake up in the morning, how can I get you better? How can I get the fans better? How can I get our coaching staff better? How can I get our players better? And that's what I live for. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do with every organization or team that I've ever been a part of.
And the progression speaks so true the way that this organization is going right now. Manager Kyle Dyson talks about it. You just mentioned it. It's all the progression going forward and helping these guys get to that next level. We got to see a good number of talent from the Flying Bison last year get from that JUCO level up to the next, whether it's D3, D2, D1, or even get drafted like Braden Risley did for the San Francisco Giants. So we'd love to hear about that, especially trying to get that progression going forward. Obviously us progressing as an organization, now moving to the Texas Collegiate League, the TCL next season. Right now, an 8-team league that'll have a 48-game season. Coach, I just kind of want to get your thoughts on that, about the new league that this team's about to join.
Well, I wouldn't say my phone's ringing off the hook, but it's been active with players from all over and when I say all over, not just Texas, but all over, have asked me, what is it like, or what are the chances of being able to play, or anything like that. It's been something of a notoriety type thing with amongst the collegiate players in just the little short time I've been a part of this. So the league itself speaks to that, and of course the organization and the way it's run and all that, that automatically has some legs and some value there. So it's kind of spread amongst from what I can see, amongst the collegiate community. And then you take, I had an opportunity a couple of years ago to go coach summer league in Alaska. So you have Alaska and you have Cotton, you have all these things. And now moving the Bison into the Texas Collegiate League, now we're up into the upper echelon of summer collegiate ball. And so now that's just bringing the game, the ability and everything up, several notches to where it's going to be kind of, it's going to be really exciting. You're going to see some GoDaddies out there on the field now.
You're telling me you didn't want to coach baseball in Alaska?
Well, I did, but I was still doing some hard work in the high school, and I couldn't leave for that period of time at that moment. So it was a little difficult right there.
I'll tell you what, I don't think you would want to get away from the Texas barbecue that we have out here. I know you and I have talked about that off camera about our love for good barbecue food, which kind of brings me to my next question. We've talked the barbecue side before. You're a Brownwood guy right now. I know you said you grew up in the Austin area, but where are we looking at best barbecue spot where you can find it?
Oh my goodness. I thought it was Louis Miller's and Taylor. I grew up in Austin. I'd go to Taylor. I'd eat at Louis Miller's. I thought that was the best I'd had. But this summer, I went to Goldie's in Kennedale, and I thought, okay, they're up on the rank here. And so I don't like to do a whole lot because I'm always hoping that somebody will say, hey, try mine and I'll get a free meal out of it. But right now, Goldie's is and B4 barbecue, the letter B for barbecue in Maybank. It was really, really good as well. I'll tell you what I will do. I'm going to drive a long way and spend a lot of money for barbecue, and that's well worth it. Both in time and money. I'll do whatever it takes to get barbecue. My wife hates it because sometimes I don't take her, but I'll get in my little Jeep and I'll just take off and go. So.
You've got the right reasons for it, though. You're going to spend the right amount of money for some really quality barbecue, and especially at places like Goldie's, Abilene out here. You got to get to Jay's Barbecue.
I got to get to Jay's.
Yeah, that's what everybody's been saying. I went there and I can't stop going. That's a problem for my wallet.
Well, we're all going to die, and so what's going to happen is, and it's not going to be a morbid talk, but we're all going to die. I want to die with no money, and I want to die where I've made the most impact on everybody I come in contact with, whether they're playing for me on the field or whether they're serving me some barbecue at the counter. But that's how I'm going to live the rest of my life. It's just be impactful and enjoy good barbecue and spend all my money.
I think those are the wise words to live by. That's kind of the way we should go out with this interview. But I'll ask you one more question. Obviously, the 2026 season coming up. What are some things they can expect from Coach Sandford coming up? What are some goals? What are things that they need to know about you joining this Abilene team?
What you see is kind of really what you get. I'm not very smart in playing games and any sub-hitting messages. So as far as the players are concerned, if there's something I see, I say, and so we're going to drive into developing relationships so they'll understand where I'm coming from. As far as the fans and the community and everything like that, I think most of the people have seen some of my teams. You know who I am when you watch on the field. There's no denying that I'm not a bench sitter. I know the term is bench coach, but I don't sit on my hands and keep my mouth shut during a game. So what that means is I may be the oldest guy out here, but I have the most energy, whether it's because of Spark or Monster or Bang or Red Bull or whatever it is. I do have the most energy of anybody I come in contact with.
It is baseball, energy drinks, and barbecue that fuels our new bench coach, the Abilene Flying Bison, or bench coach Blake Sandford. We appreciate it, and we can't wait to have you here in Abilene for the summer.
Well, I'm excited, speaking with John and Kyle and all those guys, and you guys at the office. The thing that really kind of put me on the top of this mountain is the professionalism, and really just the human aspect of it. You guys are top quality guys, top notch guys, guys that I think we can really build this thing, and I want to be a part of that. Hang around good guys that love baseball and love kids. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Well, the theme this year is face the storm, and with you, part of this coaching staff, I think we can do just that. So, Coach, we appreciate the time.
Yep, that's right. Never flinch, never flinch, because that's how we handle adversity. So thank you. Thank you for interviewing me and having me on, and look forward to getting out there.